هلا احنا من قبل ماخدين the three simple tenses, past, present, and future. Today we're going to take the rest of the 12. How important are tenses? Can someone please read the slide for me?
مس هلا بقرأ لك إياها.
Thank you.
Okay. How important are tenses? Tenses are often considered to be the backbone and the most fundamental element of the English language. Without tense, everything seems to be إيش هاي الكلمة؟ absurd.
Absurd. When something's absurd, like it doesn't make sense.
Okay. Tenses help you describe actions that take place at different times. It helps to give a clarity to your context and the information you are trying to convey. It also allows you to build complex sentence structures. So, if you want to be able to convey information clearly and promptly, you should know all the 12 tenses and how they are used.
Very good, thank you. Different tenses in English. In English grammar, there are three main tenses. هم present, past to future. وتحت كل واحد عندنا further classified كمان 4 different forms. يعني كاملين مكملين 12. So our three main tenses, present, past, future. all 4 different forms بيكون تحت كل واحد simple, continuous, perfect, perfect continuous. So for example, future perfect continuous. Hi, simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, past perfect continuous, simple present, present continuous, present perfect continuous, simple future, future continuous, future perfect continuous. Okay, the slide repeats itself. How is the structure of past tense? For simple past tense, we have our subject and our verb زائد ed أو بحال irregular المهم verb in the past tense. For example, eat مش رح ياخد ed عشان irregular رح نحكي ate. وبتكملوا the rest of the sentence normally. For example, Nathan met me at the park. Subject, verb in the past tense, and the rest of the sentence. Past continuous راح يكون our subject. Helping verb تحديدا was or were. بعدين our main verb with ing. Or the rest of the sentence. For example, here's our subject, it, helping verb was, main verb rain, ing, it was raining. Is it the rest of the sentence فينا مثلا نحكي it was raining yesterday. For past perfect, our subject, the helping verb had, تحديدا had, past participle of the main verb, and the rest of the sentence along with the time frame. past participle اللي بالعربي بيتسمى تصريف ثالث I believe بالعربي.
التصريف الثالث.
Correct? Okay. So for example, Tony had eaten his dinner before we reached the venue. So Tony is our subject. Here's our helping verb had. Eaten اللي هو تصريف ثالث like eat. His dinner before we reached the venue, and there is the time frame. امتى before we reached the venue, high time frame. هلا for past perfect continuous tense, subject had been verb ing. Sharon had been practicing the guitar when the teacher called for him. فيكم نشطب هذا just to make it a bit easier for us to understand the example since we're looking at this, for the first time. Sharon had been practicing the guitar, period. So Sharon is our subject. Had been practicing, there's our ing with the main verb. هلا إيش? It would be even better if you also learn how the structure of a sentence using the past tense form of the verb changes when used in the positive, negative, interrogative, or negative interrogative formats. For example, when we are talking in terms of positive, طبيعي subject past tense form of the verb نفس ما شفنا هلا. Negative subject did not or didn't نفس ما أخذنا وقت the sentence construction with a base form of the verb. She did not sing a song. Interrogative برضو نفس ما أخذنا وقت the sentence construction. بده يكون إن our helping verb did at the very beginning. Did she sing a song? But the negative interrogative didn't بدل did, but in the form of a question, not a statement. Didn't she sing a song? Examples of past tense. Muhammad finished his speech. Did they go to the hospital? Amal and Iman were talking about you. Salim had found the keys before his parents found out about it. Selena found out that Alia had not been taking her medicines for the last few weeks. Didn't you know about his accident? Structure of present tense. In the simple present tense اللي احنا أصلا أخذناه مع بعض هو بيجي subject مع verb in the base form مع third person plural form أو third person plural form قصدي with the rest of the sentence. For example, I go to school every day. He plays cricket. هلا for present continuous tense كيف بيجي؟ بيجي our subject مع ال helping verb تحديدا am, is, or are. The main verb with ing. Sorry, excuse me, I had to sneeze. So Tharun is watching a movie. Tharun is our subject. Is our helping verb. Hi, am, is, or are. Is, we used is. Watch would be the main verb. ing. بعدين a movie. This is the rest of our sentence. Or they are planning a birthday party for their friend. So they is our subject. helping verb are, plan, main verb, then ing. Ooh, the rest of the sentence normally, birthday party for their friend. For present perfect tense, subject, helping verb تحديدا have or has. Past participle of the main verb, the rest of the sentence along with the time frame. Vinu has left the hall. So there's our subject, helping verb has, past participle of the main verb, ooh, the rest of our sentence, the hall. Or I have reached home, subject, helping verb, past participle, rest of our sentence. But then for present perfect continuous, subject, have or has, been, verb ing, and the rest of the sentence. They have been waiting for you for a long time. Arcana has been checking her phone every now and then. ونفس الإشي عندنا positive, negative, interrogative, negative, interrogative. For positive مثل examples اللي هلا أخذناهم طبيعي subject verb. Example, she likes pizzas. For negative, subject ما do not or does not أو فيكم تختصروا don't, doesn't. And our verb. She does not like pizzas. Interrogative, we start with our helping verb, do or does. Subject, finally the verb. Example, does she like pizzas? Then interrogative, or negative interrogative, I'm sorry. Don't, doesn't, subject, verb. Doesn't she like pizzas? هلا negative interrogative by the way نفس الاشي بس interrogative بيستعمل positive, negative interrogative بيستعمل negative اللي هو don't or doesn't. Examples of present tense. Abdul Majid sings wonderfully. Sleiman and Jude are on the way to the park. Does Khalid dance? Naveen is practicing for the annual day. Rania has kept this notebook for so many years. It has been raining for quite some time now. هلا عندنا first off for future tense, simple future. Who can please read the slide for simple future for me? Who can please read the slide for simple future?
بدك أقرأ بقرأ بس عشان الزملاء.
It's okay, please go ahead.
Okay. Simple future. The simple future tense is used when an action is promised through to occur in the future.
Thought,
The
not
sim-
through.
thought promised or thought to occur in the future. The simple foreseen outcomes are started in the future indefinite tense. Shall, will marks the future indefinite tense.
Okay, and how the structure
تبعها اللي هو subject plus shall or will plus الverb.
Oh, very good, thank you.
بس عشان الخط صغير بستخدم الموبايل وبلبس نظارة قراءة فبكبر وبصغر فسوري عشان هيك مرات
No, it's
ما
all
برجع
right.
للكلمة.
So, for example, we shall move to another city. He will come to New York tomorrow. They will make a phone which has artificial intelligence. It will rain in the coming hours. There will be a hard few days ahead of us. هلا for future continuous, it's used when an action is promised or thought to be going on at a specific time or a specific context in the future. Bijou structure, subject, shall or will. B, verb, ing. I shall be sleeping at around 6 a.m. tomorrow. They will be playing at this time tomorrow. She will be watching TV when I come home. I will be working in the office while you watch a movie. Now we have future perfect. The future perfect tense is used to demonstrate an action which is promised to be done by a certain time in the future. There's a certain definitive commitment in the future perfect tense that most future tenses tend to lack. This is because a certain point in time is mentioned. But before we continue to talk about the structure, when we're talking about future tense, even if it's something promised, remember we are always talking about the future. So the future, nothing is 100% promised or certain, okay? So shall, will, have, before the past participle verb form is the definitive marker of all perfect tenses. So we've got subject, shall or will, have, and then verb in the past participle. This would be future perfect. I shall have completed the assignment by Monday. She will have cleaned the house before her father comes. Alex will have submitted the tender by tomorrow. Before I go to see her, she will have left the place. They will have finished making the bridge by January. For future perfect continuous or progressive tense, this expresses the action that will be continuing in the future for a set amount of time the speaker is sure of. By the way, future perfect continuous برضه فينا نقول له progressive tense. So the common backstory here would be the speaker posits themselves in the future and foretells something that is bound to continue happening for a certain period of time in the foreseeable future. When you foretell something, to foretell is to predict. So foreseeable future, the predictable future. Will have been is the marker of future perfect continuous tense, while the for/since plus time frame at the end is the exclusive marker for all perfect continuous tenses. So the structure, subject, will have been, then verb ing, then for or since, and our time frame. So he will have been running on the treadmill for 1 hour tomorrow. We will have been basking in the afternoon sun for the whole winter. I will have been touring the Australian terrains since next year. Will you have been staring at the moon for 1 whole hour? But I do have a spoiler alert for you guys. عادة الناس ما بيحكوا هيك. Future perfect continuous is not common. Okay? يعني قليل تشوفوا حدا بيحكي هيك أو حدا بكتب هيك. عشان it is a mouthful and it's complicated for unnecessary reasons. يعني أنا فيني أفكر بألف طريقة هدول نختصرهم هدول الجمل. For example, will you have been staring at the moon for one whole hour? Have you been staring? Have you been staring at the moon for an hour? It's more clear الطريقة اللي وصلنا فكرتنا فيه. Do we have any questions?
بس كتير يعني حكيناهم بسرعة وبالتالي يعني كتير صعبين و لأن هلأ لو ترجع تسأليني مش عارف إشي. أنا فاهمة، فهمت يعني، بس إنه لازم نكتبهم وto practice وبعدين يعني نستوعب، مش إنه شرحك مش واضح، بس
مم.
إنه سريعة،
بس المفروض ناخد زمن يعني نشرحهم شوي شوي.
ما
إنه
هي
سريعة
مشان
كتير يعني.
مجرد قراءة، كل
أغششكم
مجرد
شغلة على
قراءة.
الأزمنة. أنا ما
مم.
بيهمني تكونوا عارفين الأسامي تاعونهم. أنا native English speaker. جيبوا لي جملة قدامي، اسألوني هذا أنهي زمن. Is this future continuous or perfect or whatever. راح أصفن فيكم وأقول لكم ما بعرف بصراحة.
مم.
بس إيش راح أقدر أقول لكم؟ راح أقدر أقول لكم إذا صحيحة قواعديا أو لا. وأنا بالنسبة لي هذا اللي بيهمني برضه بدراستكم. يعني إحنا we will be practicing definitely. بس أنا ما بيهمني to practice على مستوى إنه أوكي هذا tense هيك اسمه، هذا tense هيك اسمه. أنا بيهمني تكونوا عارفين تطبقوهم بشكل قواعديا صحيحة. حتى لو مثلا مش حافظين أسامي الأزمنة، أنا شو بيهمني تحفظوا أسامي الأزمنة إذا مش عارفين تطبقوهم مثلا.
بس يعني الفكرة إنه مثلا لو أخذنا الباست تنس لحالها وأخذنا مثلا دربنا عليها، بتضلها علقة بالذهن أكتر ما إنه إحنا قرأناهم كلهم. هلا إذا رجعتي حطيتي جملة، صدقا أنا بحكي عن حالي ما بعرفش عن غيري، بس أنا مش عارف أرتب لك إياها لأن أنا عم بقرأ معاكي بالسلايد قراءة، يعني ما في شيء رسخ في ذهني إني
مم.
أضلني حافظته. هيك الفكرة بس. فممكن يعني إذا رجعنا للتسجيل وكتبناهم وقرأناهم مرة تانية ممكن أرجع أفيد، أما كمان شوي تقولي شو أخذنا أنا هحكي لك ما بعرفش، نسيت. يعني ما بعرف أرتب لك جملة تقولي لي احفظي لي إياها present continuous، مش عارف، لأنه بس إحنا عم نقرأ قراءة بس.
أوكي، ما
معلش
أنا
بس يسرك يعني إحنا عم نحكي
على مستوى أنت تيجي تحكي لي هذا الجملة آه present continuous أو غيره غيراته، أنا ما بيهمني الاسم، أنا بيهمني تكونوا عارفين تطبقوا القاعدة.
ما هو بالضبط إنه نطبق القاعدة، إنه إحنا ما حفظنا كيف تطبق القاعدة.
أوكي، هلأ بدنا نطبق القاعدة مع بعض، بس كبداية any
تمام.
questions على السلايدز؟ بتحبوا أرجع لإشي معين؟ إلا آخر future. أنا ما برجع لآخر future.
مم.
It's
ما هي مش
long, it's a
مستخدم.
mouthful. No one talks like this. No one uses it. Okay. صبركم. Let's choose the correct tense for each sentence. Can you guys see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. After John, or after Jonathan will finish, will have finished. هذا المفروض finishes, is finishing. This is supposed to be not here. His degree, he intends to work in an office. Will finish, okay, let's try كل واحد لحال. After Jonathan will finish his degree, he intends to work in an office. After Jonathan will have finished his degree, he intends to work in an office. After Jonathan finishes his degree, he intends to work in an office. After Jonathan is finishing his degree, he intends to work in an office. What is the correct tense here?
Will finish.
Not quite. عشان Jonathan لهلا مش مخلص.
Is finishing.
هلا هون we're talking about intent. Intent النية. نيته بس يخلص شهادته يشتغل في مكتب. So after Jonathan finishes his degree, he intends to work in an office.
حكيتها بالأول فكرتها غلط بس طلعت عاملة ميوت.
Okay, I'm sorry ما كنت سامعين.
لا أنا اللي عاملة ميوت فكرت حالي بحكي وسمعاني. سوري. تمام.
تمام. So number 2, Lola looked down to discover a snake at her feet. When she saw it, she screamed, was screaming, had screamed, or screams.
هي ماضي حتكون لأنه looked.
Mm.
بس
Okay.
من
Screamed.
had screamed أو screamed. نقي واحدة.
هلا أزبط who screamed بس you could get away with using had screamed يعني ممكن تزرقوا لكم had screamed هون عادي بزبط. I borrowed 4 books on gardening the last time I blanked the library. Go, went, had gone, or have gone.
Went. لا.
أيوة صح went. By the time I go to bed tonight, I will finish my work for the day. I have finished my work for the day. I will have finished my work for the day. Or I finish my work for the day.
I have finished أو will have finished.
Will have finished.
أوكي. بس بصراحة أنا مش فاهمة. يعني حاساها هيك إنه يعني شو بلبق معها هيك بالسنس مش بالستركتشر.
بتعرفي كتير native speakers على السنس بيشتغلوا مش على structure. نفس مثلا أنا أجي بالعربي أسألك طيب شو قاعدة هاد؟ ممكن تحكي لي ما بعرف، صدقا ما تكوني عارف القاعدة، بس تقدري تحكي لي هذا صح هذا غلط. هلا
يعني إنه شو اللي
tenses
قلنا هون إنه ليش يعني مثلا ليش هون مثل استخدمنا will have finished مش have finished. يعني ليش اختار هاي ما اختارش هاي؟ يعني هون this is the point، انه احنا من السلايدات اللي قبل ما قدرنا نتمكن من الستركتشر عشان اقدر اطبقها هون. يعني
Okay.
ليش will have، ليش مش have finished؟
Okay. So, by the time I go to bed tonight. يعني إيش? We still have not gone to bed by the time I go to bed tonight. This is a date that is promised or expected in the future. زي كيف قلنا وقت لما قلنا a reader, or I'm sorry, not a reader, the writer or the speaker posits themselves in a potential scenario in the future. بيحطوا حالهم بمكان معين بالمستقبل. So this would be like that scenario. By the time I go to bed tonight, يعني لسه ما صارت. So we want the will. I will. بعدين احنا قصدنا بنكون مخلصين شغلنا وكل شيء. Have finished. But we started it with will because it's still a potential scenario in the future. It still has not happened. احنا شو حسبنا حسابنا؟ انه من هون لأنا احط راسي على المخدة الليلة انا راح اكون مخلص شغلي. هلا شوفوا، tenses احسن لكم واسهل لكم عن طريق تطبيق وممارسة من انكم تحفظوا structure حفظ. اوكي؟ فممكن هو هلا اولها تحسوا it's a bit weird or maybe it's a bit complicated. But the more we practice it together, ومش شرط we're practicing it عيني عينك إنه هذا اسمه tenses. When we're reading, we are practicing tenses. When we're correcting sentences, we are practicing tenses. When we're correcting paragraphs, we are practicing tenses. When we speak to each other, we are practicing tenses. Okay? عشان ما في جملة نص جملة in English بينعمل بلا tenses. 99% من الوقت. So I don't want you guys to look at it as complicated right now أو تستصعبوها هلا. إنه هو أكون صريحة معكم هو زنخينة tenses. Okay؟ بصراحة أو grammar بشكل عام زنخ. فهي we're going to take this practice sheet together. إذا بتحبوا هلا برضه بنرجع على السلايدز. تمام. بس الأفضل إنكم تكونوا راكنين التنسز ينأخذوا عن طريق ممارسة أكتر. اوكي؟ ولا تحكي له هم انه هذا tense هيك اسمه وهذا structure تاعته بالضبط هيك. You guys are going to reach a point من خلال البراكتس ممارسة reading, writing, speaking راح توصلوا point راح تصيروا تعرفوا هذا صح هذا غلط just based on what sounds right and what doesn't sound right. It's going to become innate to you guys. هلا يعني most of the time native speakers مش بس English, native speakers of any language, go to them and ask them هذا قواعديا ليش هيك؟ راح يقولوا لكم ما بعرف. بس إيش بيقدروا يقولوا لكم؟ بيقدروا يقولوا لكم هذا صح هذا غلط. Because they know the rules of the language subconsciously. فأنا بدي نوصل مرحلة من خلال البراكتس تصيروا أنتوا تقدروا تحكوا. لو مش قادرين تحكوا لي وباي ذا ما بيهم تقدروا تحكوا لي هذا والله هذا simple أو هذا continuous أو هذا because no one cares what it's called. أنا يعني أنتوا مش رايحين تدرسوها للقاعدة. أنا بيهمني إنه إيش تكونوا قادرين تطبقوها إيش مكان اسمها. أوكي؟ إنه نتخطى technicalities يعني ما بيهمني technicalities قد ما بيهمني التطبيق نفسه. تقدروا تحكوا لي هذا الجملة صح هذا الجملة غلط هذا هيك تصحيحه إيش مكان اسم التنس المستعمل. أوكي؟ هلا let's take a small break عشان our time has just about run out. 10 minutes إن شاء الله بنرجع. وهلا برد ببعث لكم التنس سلايدز على الجروب. أوكي؟ يعطيكم العافية.